When you look at the nationalities or citizens from a particular country looking for a second passport or a dual citizenship, Canadians are amongst the highest, not just across the board, but also on this channels. If you look at the demographics, Canada is right up there, and citizens are desperately looking for a dual citizenship. And I'm also going to discuss why Canadians should not purchase a second passport. What really ticked a lot of Canadians was unvaccinated Canadians still couldn't board planes or trains. So let's say you're a Canadian, you don't want to take the jab, you don't want to put that stuff in your body. It's your choice. Your body should always be your choice. The government should not decide what goes in your body or not. So let's say you didn't decide to take a jab, that's fine, but then you're not going to go anywhere. You would not be able to board any planes or trains or exit. And this was an eye opener for a lot of people. People got frustrated with just that one single citizenship. They wanted multiple options, or at least one other option, to have that backup plan, to not be tied to your home country government. The second thing that happened here, infamously, or let's say famously or infamously, depending upon who you are, is that Trudeau vowed to freeze anti-mandate protesters' bank account. So let's say you agree with the government, you're good. But if you don't agree with the government, if you have your own agenda, you're supporting a certain group, you're supporting a certain cause, it's your money. But guess what? It's going to be frozen. You're not going to have control over your money if you don't agree with what the government has to say. So this was concerning because your money is your money. And I'm not talking whether he's right or wrong. It's just a choice that you want to have. And third and foremost, Canada is a new hotspot for a global wave of auto theft. So Canada is quickly becoming the auto theft capital of the world. Want to get your car stolen? Buy a nice fancy car, park it in one of the upscale localities, and boom, it's gone. The poverty, inflation, dropping Canadian dollar. So these are some of the very few causes why Canadians are in desperate need for a second passport. Typically, you would look at purchasing a citizenship because that is the fastest, and you're looking at anywhere from 100K to $1 million to purchase a passport. Now, when you're deciding to purchase a passport, there's spotlights on you, and spotlights from US, Canadian, EU governments. They're all interested in knowing who is purchasing, who is paying for this. Is it legit money? You're not only incurring a sunk cost, you're shelling tons of money, but at the same time, your information is investigated, and the way it's investigated is indirectly or directly controlled by the Western forces. They're very interested in who is purchasing the second passport. A lot of companies that handle due diligence, sometimes they are blacklisted. So what are they doing with your information? Misusing your information, supplying your information to various entities? That's a big black box. And when these companies get blacklisted, that is something that they don't feel comfortable sharing. That's none of your business. Yes, the information might be yours, but what happens to that information is none of your business. So is this a good option in 2024? In 2020, this was relatively new, and at that time, it was an okayish option, but does this really make sense in 2024? Big question is, do you have a dual citizenship? If the answer is no, do you really need one? If the answer is yes, better than trying to purchase a passport, you can choose to get natural residencies, plant the seeds, right? Quietly, conveniently, easily, and cheaply plant the seeds in different interesting countries, and you can earn those citizenships without even physically living in those countries for too long. A lot of options exist where you don't have to live in these countries necessarily. You start a residency process, a fairly simple residency process, almost free in a lot of places. And that is what we specialize in, and exceedingly getting a lot of interest from people, including Canadians, Americans, Australians, and other nationalities who are not interested in purchasing these passports and attracting the spotlight on them. It's time to plant the seeds carefully in places where you can obtain an outright residency for next to nothing, and then time flies, and then suddenly you realize that you're eligible for multiple citizenships in multiple spots move there, spend some time, pick up the passport, get the citizenship, and avoid some of those issues that attach you to a particular government where you're being controlled like a puppet. Now, what are some of the great options where you can pick up citizenships? Well, Mexico offers a very convenient, under the radar, swift option to obtain a citizenship. Starts with a temporary, does not matter whether you have temporary or permanent, gets you the citizenship after 5 years. Guatemala is a territorial tax-based system. So let's say you're looking for tax advantages, citizenship advantages, both in the same place. You're looking for a high quality, low entry point option. Guatemala gets you that beautiful, solid citizenship. It also gets you that territorial tax base. A lot of people just keep pushing Paraguay because they don't have any information of other places, but Guatemala is a very interesting one where you can obtain your citizenship. Dominican Republic is also a beautiful place to obtain a quick citizenship. You can obtain a citizenship in as early as 2 years in the country, and it's very easy to obtain the permanent residency off the bat. And I have a ton of videos that talk about how to obtain that permanent residency straight away in Dominican Republic. If you're more of a risk taker, there's also Honduras. Again, this is similar to Guatemala. Very low entry point. You don't have to spend your life there. You don't have to deal with the crime in Honduras unless you really are hungry for it. All we are talking over here is a flexible residency that gets you that citizenship at the end. There's also Brazil, Argentina, and so many other beautiful options in Latin Americas. In Africas, you have Mauritius and South Africa. Both have options for immediate permanent residency without really investing a whole lot there. So once you plant these seeds in different parts of the world for next to nothing, right, and then you're waiting and magically time flies, which it always does, and then you're eligible to pick up all these different nationalities. Even if you can get one or two, you would have satisfied your objective of freeing yourself from that draconian, drastic control of your home country government. And this is not just applicable to Canada. This is to any Western country that's trying to control you. And in my opinion, rather than purchasing a passport in 2024, the wiser decision is to just get it for free in due course of time. Start creating more residencies, start picking up more passports. It's not only useful, but it's also a hobby and a passion and a craze for a lot of Plan B seekers. Now, if you want to get started with any of these residencies, we specialize in having the right team in the right spot to get you these residency the cheapest, the fastest, and the safest way possible. So click the link, book a call, discuss your option, get started. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any changes to any of the programs. I try to report them as soon as they happen so you stay up to date on your favorite program. If you want to learn more about unsafe Plan Bs which are actually good, hop onto this video. This talks about 5 options that you might not have thought about. All right, catch you in this one.